Well, we could talk about John Irving's novels and how they continue to deeply disturb and delight me, or we could talk song. Before we go into the topic of that video, let me give you the solution, my suggestion for an improved line for the Foo Fighters song Rescued. Remember that I gave you the homework? And I also said I would give you my suggestion for an improved line, and my improved line was already in the song. My improved line is, I just want you to rescue me. Dave Grohl sings that all the time in the ad-lib post-chorus. Rescue me tonight. Why not take rescue me, which is perfectly phrased, instead of be rescued? I don't understand it, and it was a very easy fix in my opinion. I just want you to rescue me. This video is an analysis of Nothing Compares to You, written by Prince but made popular by the unique Sinead O'Connor. May she rest in peace. Today we are going to look at chord progressions with a very weird chord in the chorus. We are going to talk about the power of melodic range for writing great hook lines. And finally, we are going to look at lyrics that should rhyme but don't.
I went to the doctor, guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said, girl, you better try to have fun, no.
Basically, we have two main chord progressions, the one in the verse and the one in the chorus. The verse chord progression goes like this. F for one bar, then C with E in bass, D minor 7, F, and some kind of C. If we look at the chord functions, we would have 1 tonic, 5 with its 3 in bass, dominant, tonic parallel, so 6 minor, and then 1 and some kind of 5, okay? This is some kind of sus. Actually, sus2, sus4 and 7 voicing. I don't know if it's the original voicing, but it sounds really cool. Now, this chord progression changes slightly when we go into the chorus. Every time before we play a chorus, we play a modified last bar. Then the chord progression turns into that one. Everything familiar? And after the 6 minor, we have an A major 7 chord that is not really part of the F major scale. We are in F major, that song is in F major. The A major 7 chord is a secondary dominant. It's the 5 of the 6 minor. It's the 5 of D minor. So very cool, although it does not serve as a secondary dominant, in that it does not lead to the actual 6 minor, but to another chord we are going to look at in a second. One tiny variation in verse number 2 is when we find the only question in the lyrics. The question is, where did I go wrong? And notice how the chords actually get varied.
Nothing can stop these lonely tears from falling. So tell me, baby, where did I go wrong?
So no, we have not got 1 and 5. No, we have not got the 5 of 6 minor. But we have got a B major chord, so a 4 chord. A 4 chord being a nice prosodic reference to the lyrics. A question is something uncertain, something not 100% resolved, and what better chord to underline that musically than a subdominant chord that is a bit floaty, a bit somewhere in between, not really home, not really dominating, but a subdominant chord. Really nice bit of prosody. Now the chorus starts with a very surprising chord. Let's look at the chord progression in the chorus. E flat major, B flat, E flat major, B flat. Now modal interchange has happened, and this is only chorus number 1 because it's a bit different from the other choruses. Chorus number 1 is only E flat, B flat, E flat, B flat. Now, E flat is not a chord that should be in the F major scale. It's a product of modal interchange. The flat 7 major chord is something rather typical from the Mixolydian mode. So we take the E flat major from F Mixolydian, where it is the flat 7 stage degree. And it makes sense to have this modal interchange because 1, in terms of rhythm, and 2, in terms of melodic phrasing, this song is very bluesy. And the Mixolydian scale is a very bluesy scale. So in terms of rhythm, we have got a shuffly ballad, right? It's not a straightforward rhythm. Plus, the melodic phrases that we are going to look at in a second are very bluesy and very unconventional as well. So it makes sense to have a chord from Mixolydian as a modal interchange. The other choruses are a bit different. The other choruses start the same, but then for the second half they do something else. E flat, B flat, but then D minor and C. So back to convention, right? Back to F major scale pretty clearly. Flat 7, 4, 6 minor and 1. Now if we look at the transition from the verse to the chorus, we introduce the secondary dominant A7, secondary dominant of D minor, and we end the chorus on the actual dominant, on the C major chord that then leads very smoothly to the beginning of the chord progression of the verse, which started with an F. Now the second thing we want to look at is the power of melodic range in hook lines. Now of course Sinead O'Connor was a great vocalist. She could pull off melodic range quite nicely, and this is what makes the song and defines the song. At the same time, this melodic range creates hook lines that otherwise wouldn't have been possible. Let's look at the basic idea for the verse and how it gets developed. The original idea for the verse phrase is this one. So we have got a very big range. We go from B flat to A, which is almost an octave. And especially the beginning, which is a F major arpeggio, C, F, this one as a passing note, and land on A is an F major arpeggio.
It's been 7 hours and 15 days since I took our love away.
The melodic range of Sinead O'Connor defined the possibility to go crazy in the first half of the phrase and to go really, really laid back and really, really quiet in the second phrase. Since it took our love away. You can't do that in a very high register, and you can't really be loud and crazy in a very low register. So here, Sinead's melodic range made way for those great hooks that already appear in verse number 1. The second half of verse 1 introduces a variation of that melodic phrase. It's the one that says, so we have got repeating patterns, but we see that everything gets messed with a little bit, and we change the structure of the melodic shape a little bit. And this will happen throughout the song. In the second verse, after chorus number 1, we have got other cool variations, like for example with that booster line, in my opinion. He said, girl, you better try to have fun no matter what you do, but he's a fool. So it's based on the same chord progression, but we have got melodic variation that make everything more dramatic and speed up before the second chorus. And in verse number 3, we have got nice variations as well. So we start very differently. All the flowers that you planted, mama, in the backyard. So this is not really part of the original phrasing, but still we can fit it over the original chord progression, and it's almost like a jazz improvisation. Let's see what we can do with that chord progression and what different types of melodies we can sing. And they all come back to the same pattern in the second half. All died when you went away is something that is very familiar. Then we have, I know that living with you, baby, was sometimes hard. Also something that we know and something new. And the way we get from verse number 3 to chorus number 3 melodically is quite interesting. But I'm willing to give it another try. So that line is A, C sharp, and then jump, really, really big jump to B flat, that then goes down to A. Really nicely highlighting that secondary dominant, that A major chord. Now, the chorus melody is totally different. The chorus melody is that one. So suddenly we have got a very limited range, right? Only from F to B flat, and we have got no leaps at all, but only whole and half steps. Nothing compares to. And this dominant C major chord gets highlighted with its fifth. Now, of course, chorus number 2 and chorus number 3 are a bit different. And yes, there is bigger range, but the idea is the same. They change as follows. So what we have here is, yes, we have this giant leap from A to that really high F. Nothing compares to. But we land on the same thing and we repeat that very conventional pattern. Then we have, of course, making this the highlight, the high note, the highlight of the song, and something that everybody will just be amazed with. Now, the last part of the video is about the lyrics that should rhyme, that do rhyme on paper, but that don't rhyme. Here is the second half of the second verse. You can see the rhyme words. Listen to it. I could put my arms around every boy I see, but they only remind me of you. Da, da, da. I went to the doctor, guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said, girl, you better try to have fun no matter what you do. But he's a fool. You have forgotten about the rhyme word when we come to the word that is supposed to rhyme with it. And see and me rhymes on paper. But if we say, guess what he told me, guess what he told me, and we stress the word before, then the rhyme gets lost. And if we say, remind me of you, and at the end of a very, very long phrase, it says, no matter what you do, and but he's a fool, then yes, those are rhyme words on paper, but they don't seem like rhyme words. For me, that has two reasons. First, sometimes the rhyme words are placed on the secondary stresses or even completely unstressed. Guess what he told me? If your rhyme word is me, that doesn't work. Secondly, the melodic rhythm, and this we have talked about in the second part of this video. The melodic rhythm is too free and too unpredictable to establish certain metric rhythms, certain repeating patterns in the metric, and therefore also to establish rhyming patterns. So although the structure written out is a beautiful example of an A-B-A-B rhyming pattern in the verses, in my opinion, it was totally unnecessary to do that. Because if you look at the last verse is not worse, it's is not weaker than the ones before, and it doesn't even rhyme. All the flowers that you planted, mama, in the backyard. Yard will become important. All died when you went away. Let's see what this rhymes with. I know that living with you, baby, was sometimes hard. Remember that backyard? Hard's supposed to rhyme with backyard? No, it doesn't. It rhymes on paper, but it doesn't rhyme in the song, and it doesn't matter. But I'm willing to give it another try. Try is supposed to rhyme with away? No. Does it make it a weaker song? No. I think that too much work has been put into rhyming words on paper. Maybe they could even have thought of more impressive words if they hadn't stuck to a rhyming pattern that would not be hearable. Quite interesting, right? And this is where you come in, because I believe we can do better. Your homework task for today is going to be to write a verse line that follows the established pattern in verse number 1, because this is the most structured one. Remember? It's been 7 hours and 15 days since you took our love away. This is pretty clear. So we have got a metric rhythm that says bum 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 bum. Stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. And then the answering line to that is this bum ba bum 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 ba-dum. So we have got stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. Your job is to write one complete verse that follows the established rhyming pattern, A, B, A, B, and that also follows the metric rhythm. Ideally, it has got something to do with the topic of the song, but why not get completely crazy and write about, I don't know, 42 Gear Street, John Irving, this monkey here, whatever you like. So this is going to be the homework, and this is basically the end of this video. As always, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me the thumbs up. Please leave me in the comments, first of all, your suggestions for that homework task, your verse suggestions. Secondly, suggestions for songs that you would like me to cover and analyze. Make sure to please subscribe to the channel to make me hit the 600 mark soon. And if you feel crazy today, hit the bell button to get notified whenever a new video comes out. I guess we've talked song. You can talk about John Irving's novels now.
I went to the doctor, guess what he told me? Guess what he told me? He said, girl, you better try to have fun.